Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, I want to talk about this August eclipse and how it will affect you personally in terms of how eclipses bring out the things we didn't know about. So eclipses are so important in terms of the shadows they cast. In terms of the shadows that an eclipse will cast, it is very symbolic as to what it is in your personal life you will be going through. They always bring up something we didn't know about. Secrets, things from the past, and you're going to want to be prepared for this eclipse. It is a powerful, meaningful eclipse. So this eclipse happens August 12th, and you will be feeling it basically the entire month of August. So what I'm going to hone in on is your ascendant or your moon sign. If you don't know your Vedic ascendant and moon sign, then this is what you need to do. You can go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and I have a free chart calculator. There you can put in all your information and find out what your moon sign is and your ascendant sign, because I want you to listen to both. Trust me, they will both be meaningful in a very unique way. Even though you think it might be confusing, there's two signs to listen to. The moon is going to give you how you feel, whereas the ascendant will really be what's going on. And both are vitally important to understand these amazing times of shift and change. So let's get going. If you have found out that your moon or your ascendant sits in the sign of Cancer, this is so important because Cancer is the sign the eclipse is occurring in. And with that, you are really, really triggered. You will find that so many things are coming up for you that you didn't personally know about your personal life, about who you are, even relationships. It's like, why do you feel so different, so unusual, so weird? And it's because everything is being surfaced from so many insecurities that you've had in the past. And that's what this eclipse is really going to bring out for all of us. What our insecurities are all about, because that is what the sign of Cancer is all about. Cancer deals with finding security. And for those people that are insecure, this is the most important thing, to be able for them to be grounded. So you're feeling insecure, or your deep, dark thoughts are, believe it or not, about your appearance, about how you look. You're starting to be more concerned about that. What is your image? How do you project yourself to the world? This is so vitally important for you during this time. And I will say this, you are going to change the way you look because you feel like you need to dress different, appear different, but there's all these insecurities about your appearance. Why? Because this is the physical being of who you are, Cancer. And Cancer is the sign that deals with family. So you are very concerned about the security that you're able to provide for your loved ones in your family. This is vitally important for you right now. But most of all, you're insecure about your looks, whereas maybe before this hadn't been an issue. Suddenly it is. And you will do all sorts of transformational changes to give yourself more confidence. That is what you're seeking. Confidence during this, really the next 6 months. Because eclipses will affect us for a 6-month period. But during this month, it's going to be intense how you feel about your appearance, your look, your social standing. This is something that's sort of like bubbled up. For some reason, something has brought this up, and there's something about you and your appearance that has come to your attention, maybe through others, and this is what you're working on in dealing with. Notice this month how it really opens your eyes to seeing yourself differently. If your moon or your ascendant sit in the sign of Leo, then look out. So many things have been bubbling up for you in terms of your past. Insecurities about things from your past. You're starting to think of things, and this is really weird too, things that you've done wrong in the past, and you feel insecure as to what could I have done differently to change that. And yes, I'm sure in your mind's eye, if your moon, your ascendant is in Leo, you're starting to think, boy, I'll never do that again. That was really dumb. I really want to change this behavior. But these past instances are reoccurring in your mind, or something or somebody brings it back into your consciousness and awareness that you've got to sort through. It's really strange that your past is so vivid in your thinking mind, so much more vivid than before. You are trying to find security through understanding mistakes or issues from your past, and you will. This is a good thing, but it still doesn't feel good that you're having to relive and reconnect with some things from your past. And you know what? Something will come up for you concerning your past that you didn't know about. And this is what gets you starting to think about what this created in terms of your insecurities about your past, things you did in the past, and people that maybe you have resentments towards in your past. This will bubble up. This will be in your mind. And yes, you will find out something you didn't know about from your past that is going to help you unlock the key to the door to your future. Because when you stay hooked into these past experiences, you can't progress or grow. But through understanding these events and things that you feel a deep sense of maybe insecurity or sorrow, this is going to be exactly what you need to release the blockages from your past. This will unleash a new future for you. So if your moon or your ascendant sit in Sidereal Virgo, then here is what is coming up for you. You're learning something new about a friend or some people that you know, friends or groups or organizations. All of a sudden, something's bubbling up and you're seeing something you've never seen before about them. And this is important for you to understand because it might be the time to let that go. The friends, the people, because you're starting to learn something you didn't know about them. And this creates a deep sense of insecurity. Because all you really want to find is someone you can trust. And you're starting to realize that these people or a friend or even an older sibling, if you have one, are not trustworthy. And that really bothers you. And finally, you're seeing the light shed on this, and this is what's bubbling up, and you've got to recognize and realize what you need to do now about this situation with a friend, an older sibling, and or a group of people that you've become involved with. They are really, you are seeking this organization or this person in order to find security, a connection, a trust. And what you're discovering is it's not there. And it's time for you to awaken and let that go. If your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Libra, then this is the time that you will be made aware of something in your work, in your business, that maybe you thought you had a secure deal going, and all of a sudden you're starting to realize this is not secure. So you're very insecure about the job, the career, the work you're doing, or even your boss. There's something you have that you're finding out now. It's like out of the darkness comes the light about something in your work. And maybe it might just mean that your work doesn't have the meaning or the purpose that you feel like you need. You need more substance. You need to feel like what you're doing is purposeful. And it seems all of a sudden you're not into it like you used to be. It's just not meaningful. And this is hugely important because now you're starting to think, am I here for this job forever? And you're starting to realize the answer to that is no. You have this sense of insecurity. And even if you are happy with the work you're doing, you might find that the business, the organization, or your boss, you can't trust them. All of a sudden you feel like, oh my God, I can't trust these people. They are not reliable and they are not going to give me the security I am seeking. Everything is turned upside down in this way. And you will change directions and courses with your work, with your career. If your moon or your ascendant sit in Scorpio, then everything that you believed in and trusted, all of a sudden it feels like the carpet's been ripped out from underneath you. And where do you stand? What I believed in is not what I thought it was. There is this lack of belief all of a sudden because you've been believing a certain way throughout your lifetime, and all of a sudden this has been stripped away. Now you see it from a different light, and this is very confusing because you've lived your life in a certain way in accordance to what you believed. And all of a sudden, all your belief systems have shifted and changed. Now you see the light. You see something different. And you have to change. And it's not easy because you've lived your life in a particular course and direction according to your beliefs. And now you can't trust what you've believed in your whole life. This is stripping your sense of security in your spiritual beliefs completely. This is kind of traumatic. What are you going to do? You feel confused about who you are now. This is important for you to recognize and realize about yourself. Your laws, what you live by, have changed. How can that be? Your whole life it's been a certain way. Now all of a sudden, you've got to look at your entire life and what you believe and what you trust from a different perspective. But this is actually growth, and you will turn out better because of it, even though right now you are totally in confusion. If your moon or your ascendant sit in Sagittarius, then you are going through a deep psychological transformation, because life seems pretty scary to you right now. You're actually very concerned about your security in terms of life and death. You've been thinking about your health. You've been thinking about, oh my God, how long do I have to live? All these scary thoughts. It is just scary thoughts, I will say that. But nonetheless, this is how you're feeling. And you're feeling like who you are psychologically and what you thought you were is going through this tremendous transformational change. And you're starting to think, how long do I have left on this planet? You're feeling insecure about your longevity, about your life and death. This is crazy, but this is where your mind is. And you will get out of this. But for right now, you're really thinking a lot about life and death and the meaning of life, aren't you? Why are we here? What is this whole purpose? It's deep, it's psychological, it's profound. You're going through this during this month particularly. Things are being brought up. Maybe, oh my God, do I really need to plan for funeral plans where I'm going to be buried? I know that's morbid, but this has kind of crossed your mind. And it's not that this is what's going to happen. It's just in your thinking process. This is where your head is at. And there's probably things like people around you are looking at the news, starting to think about life and death. Where do we go when we die? This has been on your mind. And this will cause you to dig deep spiritually and psychologically, and most of all, metaphysically. You're going to get deeper into thoughts of why you're here. This will make your life more meaningful, and you will get on the ball and do what's necessary to create your security and length of life. That's what it's good for. If your moon or your ascendant sit in Capricorn, then you have this eclipse in your house of relationships, marriage, and this is where you feel insecure. This is where you feel like maybe something's being exposed about your partner, or you're seeing your partner in a different light that you never have before, and you're starting to worry about your relationship and or your partner. Now, if you're not in a relationship, you're starting to discover what you want out of a relationship, and that person is totally different than before, because suddenly you realize it's not just about looks or anything like that. You're thinking, I need someone that will give me security. And on top of that, if your partner isn't providing security for you, you're getting a little edgy. It's more difficult for you during this time. So please be aware that you are here to make your relationship better during this time, but it's not going to be easy, because you are afraid. You're afraid in the area of relationship. You don't feel like you're getting the security. You don't feel like you're getting the attention. You don't feel like you're getting what you need out of your relationship. You need more. And it's not easy. If your moon or your ascendant sit in Aquarius, then your insecurities and what's coming up right now is something to do with your health. You feel like you need to go get a checkup. There's some things, some aches and pains, or something that needs to be looked at. And you feel like, oh my God, what if I get sick? I don't feel that great. What's going on with my body? That kind of stuff. And even around the workplace, things are getting kind of crazier for you. Yes, it is. You are really insecure about your health. Therefore, it is time to get healthier. It is time to attest to that. Some things are cropping up that you're realizing you need to be healthier. This is what's being revealed. Maybe all of a sudden you're noticing your blood sugar levels are not right, or your blood pressure's not right. These are things that you have to attest to and start looking at, and this will bring improvement. But it's kind of scary when this stuff comes up, because you start thinking, oh my God, I'm not immortal. And that's what this will bring up about health and your physical being and how you take care of yourself. This is what this eclipse will bring up for you. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign sit in Sidereal Pisces, then this is going to be the time that you are really looking into your thoughts, your ideas. You're being a little bit, if I could say, obsessive and compulsive with your mind. You're starting to worry about everything going on in the world. This is like bothering you. Oh my God, what about the economy? What about the future of the housing market? What about my children? What about all these things, these insecurities? Your mind is really kind of troubled right now. Don't worry, it's not forever. And what's coming up, if you do have children, something about one of your children will come up that possibly you didn't know about. And not only that, with this information, things can be worked on and improved. That's what's the most important thing for you to realize and recognize, yes. So, but another thing, if you're in the area of investments, boy, do you feel insecure with your investments in this world. Hang in there. Don't do anything drastic. Just hang in there. It'll, even though the pendulum is switched one way, it will come back. Don't jump in and do anything dramatic to change things. Just lay low and quit being so obsessive compulsive with your mind and your thoughts. Things will come back to normal, even though it seems pretty impossible right now. And if you have children, look into what they're doing in their affairs, because there's something you do not know about. If your moon or your ascendant sit in Sidereal Aries, then you are feeling pretty insecure about your home, your property, where you live. Will I get this house I need? Will I move? Should I move? Do I need to move? Will I have the money to move? All these insecurities crop up. And even your vehicle, your car, be aware you do need insurance. And yes, you're probably thinking, I better get home insurance. I better be insured, because there's all these insecurities about what's going on with your property. And if you're trying to buy a house, you're starting to believe you'll never find one, because maybe the markets don't have availability with things that you want. But there's so much insecurity about your housing, where you live, your home. And even if your mother's around, you're going to worry about her well-being. There's some big changes happening on the home front. And you know what? Probably you will move, because you do feel so insecure about where you're living and your living conditions. And something about where you're living, maybe your home or something about your house, something will be revealed that you didn't know about. Maybe a leak somewhere, maybe a problem or an issue with the structure, I'm going to say the foundation, but something with the home will be revealed. If your moon or ascendant sit in Sidereal Taurus, then look out. This is the time that so many things are going to come up concerning how you connect with other people, your communication skills, how you think, the way you think. It's actually going to change, which is odd, for your whole thinking process to kind of shift and go another direction. And if you're learning or you're in school, you will find out that you're going to change what your interests are and what you want to learn or do in school. But another thing is, if you have siblings, there's going to be something about one of your siblings that you'll find out that you didn't know about. Something deep, something dark. And if you don't have any siblings, then it's going to probably be your whole thinking process is going to change, and you're feeling insecure. And you're not feeling like communicating the way you used to. You don't feel like talking as much. You feel disconnected in so many ways with others. This is temporary, but it is the result of what you are feeling. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Gemini, then I want you to know you are insecure right now about financials, your money. What if the bottom falls out of the economy? How am I going to fare? What's going forward with my financial future? Am I okay? Am I going to be okay? There is a lack of a sense of security with this eclipse in your house of money, and it does change your position with your family. You feel disconnected and insecure with your family. They're not the same. But most of all, the issues around finances and money, you have this deep shift of insecurity that's just cropped up, and you're going, what's going on? Probably there's fear about the economy, you know, going on with what's everything happening in the world. It's affecting your sense of security, period, financially. Even though no matter how much money's coming in, there is this innate fear. What if I lose it? What if I don't have this money to spend in the future? What if my salary goes down? What if I don't have this money? This is the deep fear and insecurity that Gemini is feeling right now, especially during the time of this eclipse. Will it last? None of these will last forever. This is what's being brought out, and even something about your financial security, something will be revealed that you didn't know about. And this will shift your finances in a specific way. Not to say that it's going to be a great loss, but that you're going to be aware of something, maybe some expenditure that you didn't need. Things will change in the financials in your life. So with that, I hope that I've informed you of where this eclipse is going to take us in terms of what it reveals that we didn't know about, and where our mind and our head's at, and what we can be doing, because none of this is going to last. It is mainly an opportunity to see something that can help us that we didn't know about our lives. So with that, please remember, if you would like to learn Vedic astrology from me, I have a university, and we are starting semester 1 very soon. So check it out. Go to University of vedicastrology.com. And if you want to get my galactic planner, my goodness, this will do all of the work for you and tell you how this eclipse is going to affect you daily. The planner is your personal chart dissected every day of your life. Go to galacticplanner.com, and remember, if you want to get my free newsletter, just go to my website, galacticcenter.org. Thank you.